A nation that begs. We'll tell you why. After more than 60 years of unbridled borrowing, Ghana is back again at the International Monetary Fund. Well, this is the home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Please do stay for details. Now, the Programs Manager for the National TB Control Program, Dr. Yao Edusei-Poku, has revealed that the number of TB cases in Ghana is expected to increase if actions are not taken to tackle the disease. Speaking at a sensitization program for journalists on TB reporting, Dr. Edusei-Poku said about 30 persons die of TB daily in Ghana and over 120 others fall ill of the disease daily. There's more in the following report.
A total of 16,650 cases of tuberculosis were detected in Ghana last year, an increase of 20% of the 13,278 cases detected in 2021. However, there are fears the number will surge further in 2023 if actions are not taken to curb the situation. Speaking at a sensitization program jointly organized by the National Tuberculosis Control Program, Hope for the Future, and other stakeholders in the fight against TB, Programs Manager for the National TB Control Program, Dr. Yao Edusei-Poku, said actions need to be taken to fight the disease.
So we are saying that every day, about 30 people in Ghana die of TB. 125 persons fall ill of TB. So why are we where we are? Last year, for instance, we got 20% more of our cases. That is 16,650. It is possible that due to a lot of strategies we are putting into place, there will be more cases coming. So the issue is, why are we where we are? Awareness. We need to create a lot of our awareness. That comes with resources. So it's all about making sure that we have a lot of gene experts, which is now the current state-of-the-art machine for diagnosing tuberculosis. We need to have more of the x-rays in all the district hospitals. That will create access. Okay, we need to talk about, just like I've indicated, talk a lot, create awareness also for the disease.
The Executive Director of Hope for the Future Foundation, Cecilia Senu, also called on government to show more commitment in investing towards the fight against TB and other diseases.
Today also we are preparing the media to support us to ensure that the government of Ghana participates in the UN high-level meeting. There are a number of things that is happening, and they are going to sign the commitment to support TB. We want to engage the President, one, to participate in that UN high-level meeting on TB, and also sign on the commitment to invest in TB. We have the 6 A's that we presented today, and these are the things that we want the President of Ghana and all the Ghanaians to advocate for our President, not just to sign or not just to commit, but invest money into TB, HIV and malaria. We need to end all these diseases by 2030. Also, the government has pledged $2 million to support the Global Fund to end TB, HIV, and malaria during the 7th replenishment. The $2 million, we are so grateful. Civil society is happy. Government, everybody is happy that our President and our government pledged $2 million to Global Fund to support TB, HIV, and malaria. We want to see that this $2 million is actually turning to cash to the Global Fund to invest in TB, HIV, and malaria in developing countries, including Ghana.
The sensitization workshop was aimed at educating journalists from selected media houses on the causes, symptoms, and transmission mode of TB. They were taken through TB reporting guidelines, ethical consideration in reporting on TB, guidelines for interviewing TB patients and healthcare professionals. A report by Prince Kudoga for Joy News.
Now, the Special Prosecutor Akisi Ejaben has revealed that every member of the defunct Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining is a target of the ongoing investigation into the activities and will not be spared. He made this revelation in an exclusive interview on Joy News.
We cannot be irresponsible and sit back without going after these things. Now, if the president establishes an interministerial committee, later on the president dissolves it, and there are all manner of allegations against this committee, this dissolved committee, we are already doing our investigations in respect of corruption and corruption-related matters regarding Galamsey. And then, an aspect of it, as you read from my publication way back in October 2022, an aspect was the way this committee was handled and why it was dissolved, and the problems associated with this committee. Once again, I'll retreat. Every person who was an officer of this committee is my target, because the allegations against this committee. And so, you do not cloak yourself with immunity, as far as I'm concerned, because someone puts out a report. That report comes to my attention. It is part of my investigation. But merely because someone puts out a report doesn't mean the person is then insulated from the process of the investigation. Now, at the end of the day, as I keep saying, I will then decide who to use as what. If at the end of the investigation I decide that Samson, we should use Samson as, we decide that maybe we have to prosecute some people. And then I will decide the way this investigation went and the way the information came to us, let's use Samson as a prosecution witness. And we would approach you and see if we could use it as a prosecution witness. But not necessarily because we think you haven't committed anything, but we think that maybe you are a smaller fish to catch a bigger fish. But in the middle of the investigation, when the investigation is so live and ongoing, everyone is fair game for us.
Meanwhile, the Special Prosecutor says he respects the credential of former Environment Minister Professor Frimpong Boateng and does not intend to embarrass him with the ongoing investigations. However, he has a charge to keep for the public and the country. The response follows claims by Professor Frimpong Boateng that he has been victimized by the Special Prosecutor in a recent interview with Evans Mensah.
I respect the credentials of the professor, and I doff off my hat to him. You know very well, you know me personally, you know very well how and my life's trajectory. On another score, I'm an academician myself, and so I respect such people on all scores. I mean, his CV is unbelievable. I respect that, and I applaud him for that. But I have a charge to keep. The charge I have to keep is to the Republic of Ghana and to the public. I have been put in this position to investigate corruption and corruption-related offenses. I've been put in this office to prosecute people who I deem to be culpable for such offenses. I have been put in this office to recover assets for the country. I have been put in this office to prevent corruption. These are the 4 tasks that I have until August 2028. Now, when a case comes before me, first, it's a preliminary investigation. I go under with my officers. Is there any substance to this matter? I'm answering your question. I'll come to it.
Sure.
Is there any substance to this matter? When the preliminary investigation is over, I have certain options. One option is to say, there's no meat in this matter. Let us just file it away. Maybe one day it may not be cold. Another option open to me is that there is a lot of wisdom in opening a full investigation, and so we should do a broader and fuller inquiry into this matter. And this is where we are in terms of the fight against Galamsey. Now, when you're appearing before us, depending on what we deem to be the charges we are envisaging against you, depending on the nature of the evidence and what we deem to be the seriousness of it, we take action appropriately. I will state again, the public and any member of the public has the luxury to consecrate saints. But in consecrating your saints and your heroes, mind you again, I'm stating again, I am your conscience. I am the spirit of the nation, and the office stands for that. In the estimation of the office, there are no saints. In the estimation of the office, there are no heroes. Now, if I approach this job of fighting corruption, that there are some persons in the society who have attained this status of sainthood, we will lose the fight against corruption.
Now, the special prosecutor also warned that his office will go after anyone against whom corruption or corruption-related allegations are made, adding that if there are allegations of corruption against any member of the public, he will investigate the allegation thoroughly rather than turn a blind eye to it. Speaking on Newsfile, the special prosecutor said he will go after any officer whom allegations of being unable to account for seized gold nuggets in his care or that the person has pocketed it.
There have been allegations against these officers who sat at the interministerial committee. The head of the committee, secretary to the committee, and other officers. And then the dealings of the committee were interfacing with those who were accused of being in the business of or the adventure of illegal mining. And so this is the point we are coming from. Now, if the accusations against you that you seized excavators and you are unable to account for it, I won't sleep over it. I'll come after you. Now, if there are allegations against you that you seized gold nuggets belonging to someone, and as a public officer you pocketed it, I won't sleep over it. I'm coming after you. The allegations that you mismanaged the resources of the committee, I won't sleep over it. I'll come after you. At the end of the day, if I weigh the evidence against you and I come to the conclusion that there's nothing to it, then I let go. But in the middle of the investigation, in the course of the investigation, I treat everyone the same. Mind you, at the office of the special prosecutor, we do not consecrate saints. And let me make this very clear. No one is a saint to us. No one is an angel as far as we are concerned. When we start investigating a case, we're looking at everybody and everywhere.
He clarified that once a directive is issued for anyone to appear before the office with a lawyer, that person is considered a suspect. According to him, the manner in which the informers will be invited to the OSP will be different and will certainly not include a directive for them to bring a lawyer.
We look at everybody in the same manner. And so when you appear before us, the nature of how you come to us is very crucial and is very, very important. I'm saying, if you are my confidential source, if you are my whistleblower, there is a way I will contact you. There is a way I will invite you. There is a way I'll talk to you because I need information from you. But if you are appearing before me as a suspect, there is also a way. I do not invite you. I direct you to show up because it is a criminal investigation. You are directed to show up. And in the direction to show up, you are specifically told what we are investigating and the subject matter of what we are investigating. And then in the direction for you to come, we tell you that you are a person who is considered necessary for the investigation. And there's a specific direction for you to show up at a specific address for the interview. Then you are told of your right
that when you're coming, you may come with a counsel of your choice. Now, if I see you as a whistleblower, I consider you as a confidential source. I will not be telling you that when you are appearing before me, come with your lawyer. Why would you need a lawyer if you are coming to divulge some information which I may be interested in? But immediately I tell you that you are directed to show up and that come with a lawyer, then you should know that you are a suspect. And that is what goes for everyone who appears before us in that scheme of affairs.
Now, lands and forests destroyed by illegal mining will take several years to be reclaimed to their original state. That's according to Professor Emmanuel Dankwa of the KNUST. The Dean of the Faculty of Renewable Natural Resources says the current state of lands destroyed across the country will take more than 10 years to recover. He believes afforestation is impractical with constant illegal mining.
Illegal mining has become lucrative in Ghana. However, the illegal mining operations are seriously undermining farmlands, plantations, forests, and endangering livelihoods in communities. The endgame of these environmental fluctuations include climate change. Dean of the Faculty of Renewable Natural Resources at the KNUST, Professor Emmanuel Dankwa, said afforestation is needed to keep the ecosystem stabilized. He was speaking at tree planting activities at the KNUST plantation sites at Domiabra and Angomaso.
Forests do not become forests overnight. So deliberately cutting a forest and doing galamsey and then doing reforestation, it will take decades for that forest to become a real forest. So for me, it is no use cutting the grown one where the ecosystem is stabilized. If you want to cut the trees and then do your mining, after you replant, the species are going to take a long time to get stability. So for me, that is not a no-go area. And even when you cut down trees, that is not the only effect on.
The new Chevy Silverado HD puts you in command. Own strength with its enhanced available Duramax 6.6-liter turbo diesel V8. Own the lake with its available advanced towing technology. And own technology with an available 13.4-inch diagonal touchscreen. The new Chevy Silverado HD. Own work, own play, own life. Learn more at Chevy.com. Find new roads. Chevrolet.
A good time starts with a great wardrobe. Next stop, JCPenney. Family get-togethers to fancy occasions, wedding season too. We do it all in style. Dresses, suiting, and plenty of color to play with. Get fixed up with brands like Liz Claiborne, Worthington, Stafford, and J. Farrar. Oh, and thereabouts for kids. Super cute and extra affordable. Check out the latest in-store, and we're never short on options at jcp.com. All dressed up, everywhere to go. JCPenney.
Ecosystem. Water systems also dry out. And in terms of gold mining or mining per se, pollution is one essential thing. Yes, so most of our rivers are polluted now. So for mining, we need to get the designated mining places. This illegal galamsey, no, it will not help anybody. And this is an essential part of climate change. Now you can see that there's a lot of degradation going on all over the place. So this is one of the strengths of the faculty to help combat climate change.
The plantation activities, which forms part of the Green Ghana Day, is towards the attainment of Goal 13 of the Sustainable Development Goals. The faculty aims to plant 10,000 trees of various species, including Ofram, Mahogany, and Emire, covering about 30 acres at the Domiabra, Kwamo, and Angomaso KNUST plantation sites. Central Cluster Head of AgroCrown, Frank Ewa, said perpetrators of illegal mining are not penalized enough. He said the proper nurturing of the newly planted trees will ensure maximum survival rate.
Not 100%.
Yeah, because the system being put in place, I think the government is really advocating a lot to fight this galamsey exercise. But still, there are some people, when you go to Bogoso area, we have customers and dealers around the country. When I go to Western region, daylight like this, you'll be seeing people doing galamsey. Meanwhile, there are government officials around that area. So I think still the government have a lot to do. This particular exercise, you need some maintenance at the end of the day. And some of this maintenance, you have to get chemicals to control weeds. Other than that, the project will fail.
The plantation activities were in collaboration with Ghana Institute of Foresters, GIF. Reporting for Joy News, Clinton Yeboah.
Now, the Forestry Commission says the continuous depletion of the country's forest cover calls for an aggressive tree planting exercise aimed at restoring the integrity of the country's forest. Executive Secretary of the Forestry Commission and Board Chair of Mando Secondary Technical School in the Central Region, James Ebenezer Kobina Datson, believes it is important to inculcate in children the essence of the Green Ghana Day. He was speaking at the Green Ghana Day in the Ejumako Enyam Isiam district.
The staff and students of the Mando Secondary Technical School, the Executive Secretary of the Forestry Commission and Board Chair of the school, James Ebenezer Kobina Datson, stated how crucial the Green Ghana Day means to the country. He says owing to the Ghana's forest cover that is being lost as a result of galamsey activities, there is a dire need to plant the trees.
You know that a lot of our medicines come from our forests, and also we believe that our forests serve as a cover for our water bodies, and also we can sit under the trees, have some shade protection from the sun. We think that with all the issues of galamsey, people going into forest reserves, cutting down our trees, if we don't replant, then we will lose our forest cover, and very soon our country will be experiencing what is experienced in other countries in the Sahel region. And we don't want to do that. We have been blessed with a lot of good rainfall. And so we, knowing that our students are future leaders, we decided that let's go to the schools and plant with the students. Young as they are, they will see the need to plant trees, and that we believe will not leave them even when they leave school. They will go out to society, wherever they find themselves, whether it's the workplace or their own homes. They can plant trees to protect, help contribute to protect our environment.
District Chief Executive for the Jumako Enyan Esiam District, Ransford Kwesi Nyako, explained why the students in the district were their prime focus.
3 years ago, what they planted have begun fruiting, and for the headmistress to move beyond the acacias, the mahoganies, the teaks, to cash crops like mangoes, like coconuts, like palm oil, tells you how beneficial this project will be, not just in the short term, but in the long term. I was mentioning that since we started, we've done almost about 50 to 60,000 seedlings, and our concentration was most or largely in the schools, because we decided that we want that sense of ownership. So if I plant in a basic school, I can tax the headmaster to tax a student to take care of that seedling.
The headmistress of the school, Rosalyn Ayokosoa, recounted how the planting of trees has proved valuable for some schools in the central region.
I've been a headmistress of Asin Sita Agric in the Asin South District. Someone planted teak at that school, and when I went there, I needed furniture, so I had to harvest what someone had planted. And so it motivated me that I should go into teak farming in any school that I find myself, because that really supported the school, and so I had my motivation from there. And
Now, the president of the Bono East Regional House of Chiefs, Pimampem Yao Kabresi the fifth, has charged the Nananom of the various traditional areas across the region to institute measures capable of ensuring that the over 150,000 trees planted across the transition zone are nurtured properly to help in the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goal 13, which focuses on climate change mitigations. He was speaking at an event held at the Bono Manso Waterfall to commemorate this year's Green Ghana Day. And Asabit has more in the following report.
The Bono East Regional Coordinating Council, together with the Forestry Commission, selected the Bono Manso Waterfall for the commemoration of the 2023 Green Ghana Day. A day initiated by the President, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and aimed at enhancing nationwide efforts to achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 13 on climate change mitigations. President of the Bono East Regional House of Chiefs, Pimampem Yao Kabresi V, who led the tree planting exercise, charged traditional authorities in the area to own the project and help in the protection of the region's forest enclave, which serves as a transition between the savanna and the forest zones.
We have to have buffer so that there wouldn't be any encroachment, so that it will prolong, and then the water will be protected. It will be safe. That is the basis, and the duty of Nananom to do that. They do not leave it on the hands of the government. Now it is the project of the community. So it's necessary that Nananom help. That is why we are here today.
He further charged the Nananom of the various traditional areas to champion the supervision of the over 150,000 trees set to be planted across the 11 districts of the region.
Supervision should be done by the community and the forestry people, especially the community. They are living along it. So if the community fails to do it, who should do it? It is the mandate of the community Nananom to see to it that it is protected.
Regional Manager of the Forest Services Division, Dixon Ajaysichi, said the choice of the Bono Manso Waterfall as the venue for this year's event is to, amongst other things, help protect the ecosystem as well as help in the protection of the tourist site to help boost the local economy.
We all know the importance of trees in our life, so we took advantage of the Green Ghana project to create much awareness on the importance of trees so that people will be involved, be informed, and they will take active participation in this Green Ghana project in 2023. We also decided to come to Bono Manso Waterfalls because research has shown that when you relax under green environment, natural ecosystem, it helps you to reduce stress and anxiety. It also helps your well-being and then give you happiness. Besides that, the idea was to promote these waterfalls we have in the Bono Manso district, okay, so that the entire nation and then the world at large will know that there is a waterfalls here. So from time to time, they can come and then relax and then enjoy themselves.
He, however, emphasized that the Bono East Enclave serves as an important region in the fight against climate change, and there is the need to plant more trees in the area to help protect the forest zone.
To us, much attention should be here, okay, in the transition zone by planting more trees, by protecting the environment from fire, from other negative tendencies that destroy the environment. Because once the transition zone more or less becomes desert, then the entire nation will are doomed.
He was also quick to urge residents to inculcate the habit of planting as well as nurturing more trees as part of measures aimed at protecting the environment.
I encourage each and everyone living in the Bono East to plant more trees, protect the environment from fire, stop any other negative tendencies that will destroy the environment, that in the near future will create problems for us in respect to the environment.
Joy News, Bono Manso.
Now, the Catholic Archdiocese of Cape Coast is asking government to see to the enforcement of laws on illegal mining and illegal destruction of the country's forest reserves. According to the church, it doesn't make sense when every year people are called upon to plant trees and at the same time the existing forest reserves are being dissipated. Speaking at the Green Ghana Day celebration in Cape Coast, Director of Caritas and Socio-Economic Development at the Archdiocese of Cape Coast, Reverend Father Stephen Amoah-Gyesi also called on government to pay persons under the Youth Unemployment Agency at the Forest Commission who help in nurturing the seedlings.
According to the church, it is good to plant the trees and nurture them to grow, but it is equally good to ensure that existing forest cover is not depleted. Speaking at this year's Green Ghana Day at Cornelia Corneli School in Cape Coast, the Director of Caritas and Socio-Economic Development at the Archdiocese of Cape Coast, Reverend Father Stephen Amoah-Gyesi, entreated government to enforce the country's law on illegal mining and illegal logging of trees.
As we are even planting today, there are people in the forest trying to destroy the forest. So I don't know. So I am pleading with the government, with the stakeholders. Please, let us do the best thing we can to make sure that what we are doing is not destroyed the next day. And we do that by making sure that the laws are working. All those supposed to be given the necessary tools to protect our forest, they are given the necessary tools. Or else it becomes a show. But we don't want to be part of a show. We want to be part of a long-lasting project that will have effect on the yet unborn generations.
He also called on government to pay the youth employment workers that work with the Forestry Commission.
But as much as Christians, we want to be part of this all-important project, we also want to encourage the government. From my own investigations, I've realized that those who are employed from the Youth Employment Project and then sent to the Forestry Department, they have not been paid for months, which is very sad. Very sad, because these are the young ones who actually nurse the trees for us to plant. And so if you don't pay them, it becomes a big disincentive for the continuity of this project.
Operations Manager of the Plantations of the Forestry Commission, Daniel Donko, says the Commission is targeting both on and off reserves and pleaded with everyone to take part in a tree planting exercise beyond the day set aside.
The place that we planted last year won't be necessarily the same place that we are going to plant, because we are extending and expanding our tentacles to capture places where we experience deforestation and land degradation. If we've been advised to plant trees which will enhance our environment, give out food, give out medicine, and also help rains that sometimes when the rain falls, we see flooding everywhere. Because we've taken our trees away. Because where we are supposed to plant trees, we paved the pavement everywhere. And the rain that come have nowhere to go down, serve as erosion, get into the drains, and then flood our communities. And then we also look onto the government to help us through NADMO and other things.
Now, Ghana is in the process of building its first nuclear power plant as part of measures to implementing its energy transition framework. The framework is expected to create some 1,404,722 new job opportunities due to the introduction of new technologies. It is also expected to lead to
a good time starts with a great wardrobe. Next stop, JCPenney. Family get-togethers to fancy occasions, wedding season too. We do it all in style. Dresses, suiting, and plenty of color to play with. Get fixed up with brands like Liz Claiborne, Worthington, Stafford, and J. Farrar. Oh, and thereabouts for kids. Super cute and extra affordable. Check out the latest in-store, and we're never short on options at jcp.com. All dressed up, everywhere to go. JCPenney.
30.05 million productive hours gained due to the upscale adoption of clean cooking fuel. According to experts, this will have significant impact on women and children who are the main gatherers of firewood. Samuel Kojo Brace has more.
Ghana's energy transition policy is a long-term framework that guarantees the best fuel supply security due to a diversified fuel mix, including natural gas and nuclear energy. But little is known about the framework. A CSO platform, CASA Initiative, has thus organized a forum to sensitize CSOs in the natural resource and environment sectors on Ghana's energy transition framework. Dr. Robert Sogbaji, the Deputy Director of Nuclear and Alternative Energy at the Ministry of Energy, explains the primary goal of the policy.
Now, the energy transition is to make sure that we reduce our greenhouse gas emissions in the energy sector globally, because we realize that the energy sector is one of the sectors that is causing greenhouse gas emissions and which is causing climate change in terms of flooding, in terms of droughts, in terms of anything that affects us through climate change. So we realize that if we decarbonize the energy sector, we are going to significantly reduce the effect of climate change in the world.
He explains how Ghana intends to achieve the strategies in its energy transition.
By making sure that we increase our renewable energy penetration, we also introduce other technologies such as nuclear energy, also carbon capture technology for our gas plants, because gas is a transition fuel in Ghana, and various other systems that we are implementing in the country to make sure that we achieve clean energy sector in Ghana.
Dr. Sogbaji reviewed that plans are far advanced to build Ghana's first nuclear power plant.
We want to establish our nuclear power. Latest by 2030, 2032, we should be able to have our first nuclear power plant in the energy mix. And this is going to serve as a base load energy to support our thermal plants from gas and our hydro. Because as of now, we've exhausted all our large hydros. And our mini hydros, if you even dump all of them, we may not get about up to 2 gigawatts. So we need another base load, clean energy base load. And nuclear comes in as a clean base load.
CSOs want government to do more to help citizens to keep an eye on key milestones set in the framework. John Goka is National Coordinator of CASA Initiative.
Especially the subsector levels, when we come to the community levels that are supposed to play a key role in supporting this implementation. How are we driving the process of awareness at the community level? Issues of clean cook stoves, how are communities accepting this model, and how are they seeing it as part of the framework? How these linkages need to be well strengthened within the community level so that we know this is the path that government is taking to achieve clean energy and let's say a transitioned economy at the end of the day. It's a long-term plan from 2022 to 2070. So along the way, we need to be updating ourselves on the processes that have unfolded so far.
One of the most important milestones of the framework is its capacity to minimize energy-related indoor air pollution and its related illnesses, estimated at saving 48,218 babies from dying through premature death due to improvement in air quality and health.
Now, former National Security Advisor Francis Poku has said many situations could be exploited by radicals and violent extremists if conscious efforts are not made by governments to protect the nation. He said the absence of good governance, judicial use of resources, and fair electoral issues, among others, could create dissatisfaction among people who may embrace violent offers to destabilize the nation. He made the remarks at a dialogue by the National Catholic Secretariat in Sunyani. Precious Semevo has more.
The regional dialogue in Sunyani was organized by the National Catholic Secretariat of the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference, funded by the Catholic Relief Services. The Sahel Peace Initiative had stakeholders including the Peace Council, political parties, religious leaders, youth leaders, and security agencies to raise awareness about conflicts in Ghana that have the potential of providing fertile grounds for violent extremism and also provide the platform to advocate for positive change. Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Jemfi is the Bishop of Sunyani and President of the conference.
We seek to enhance our understanding of the trending conflict issues and how they create fertile grounds for violent extremist infiltration. By delving deep into the root causes of these conflicts, we can develop effective strategies to counteract their detrimental effects. Secondly, we aim to emphasize the role of alternative dispute resolution in safeguarding social cohesion.
Bono Regional Minister Justina Osubanahini urged stakeholders to be vigilant of signs that could potentially lead to instability in the border region. She expressed worry over the high number of chieftaincy disputes.
The Bono region's proximity to Côte d'Ivoire, with porous borders, adds to the potential challenges in managing the situation. There are 25 unresolved chieftaincy disputes currently before the Bono Regional House of Chiefs Judicial Committee, with 10 being at the paramountcy level. This has been a challenge to the Regional House of Chiefs in terms of trying to find amicable solutions to these disputes, and has also been a constant worry for the Regional Security Council, which role is to ensure the peace and stability of our dear region.
Former National Security Advisor Francis Poku, speaking on the theme, Trending Conflicts in Ghana, Fertile Grounds for Violent Extremism, a call for action, said concerns such as good governance should be important to government to ensure agitators are not exploited by radicals and violent extremists to destabilize the nation.
It's not enough for security services to protect the nation against violence and subversion, but there is an area of good governance to ensure that these grievances do not persist in a country. And that is the best protection against terrorist violence. So with regime protection must go good governance. And all governments have a duty for the purpose of stability to ensure that there is good governance. If there's no good governance, you create unemployment, you create dissatisfaction, you have groups that are disaffected, you have groups that feel that they are not part and parcel of society. And if you go to areas where government development has not reached, they are also easy targets, because they feel that they are not part of society and they will embrace any groups that come with offers of violence.
Precious Semevo, Joy News, Sunyai.
Now, Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz bin Salih has commended healthcare workers in the region for their immense role played in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking at award ceremony in Wa, where he presented certificate to 127 health and allied workers on behalf of President Akufo-Addo, noted that the people of the region hold them in high esteem for tremendous work in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. The Upper West region recorded 996 COVID-19 cases with 46 deaths. Joy News Upper West regional correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
The past few days have seen the Upper West Regional Minister, Dr. Hafiz bin Salih, with support from the Upper West Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Damien Pouiri, presenting certificates of honor on behalf of President Akufo-Addo to health and allied workers in the Upper West region for their immense role in fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. 376 health and allied workers got a presidential recognition in the Upper West region. The Upper West region recorded 996 COVID-19 cases with 46 deaths. 72 of the persons infected with the virus were healthcare workers, but none died. The award ceremony held in Wa is therefore received in sequel to other previous ceremonies held at Isa, Bolu, Tumu, Nandom, and Laura to present the certificates to the awardees. Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz bin Salih was commending the healthcare workers, recalled with nostalgia when the first few cases of the COVID-19 pandemic were recorded in the region.
When the first COVID-19 case was discovered in the region, for us to approach that individual, we were all trembling. It wasn't easy. And you all recall the famous incidents where a Nigerian who was alleged to have contracted COVID, the treatment he got from the people of Wa. On the day we were tracing him, the whole town went dead, and every Nigerian became an outcast. Those are the things that we've been through as a country. The people of the Upper West region hold you in high esteem. It is for this reason that I believe that this will spur you on, for you to give off your pests.
Our Powers Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Damien Pongiri, on his part, noted that lessons learned from responding to the pandemic will help the region to put in mechanisms to deal with similar outbreaks in future.
The level of risk has come down, but as a virus which can always change its makeup and become more virulent, we are urged to continue to observe all the protocols and also take out all the preventive measures like COVID-19 vaccination.
Principal State Attorney at the Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Lawyer Said Abdul Shakur, was commending President Akufo-Addo for the awards, also charged health workers to live up to their responsibilities.
The number one gentleman of the land was faced with an actus novus intervenis. Before COVID, for the last 100 years, we have not had any pandemic in the nature of COVID. So when you become a president, gloating in your successes and all of a sudden COVID is thrown at you, you panic a little bit. But I'm sure our president never panicked. He stood up to the challenge. Fortunately, we all survived the storm. I want to say that this your profession is a calling, and that's my last word. And those of you who have found yourself here by accident, please exit. Because the challenges you are going to face now and in the future are challenges that I will not face, and that is why I didn't choose it.
In all, 127 health and allied workers drawn from the One Municipal Hospital, One Municipal Health Directorate, One West District, Upper West Regional Hospital, Ghana National Ambulance Service, and the Upper West Health Directorate were awarded with certificates. Some of the awardees shared their thoughts with Joy News.
To me, I'm very happy for being honored by the president through my management, because as I was doing the work, I never knew I was going to be awarded this way. For the president to be awarding us this way, I think he is really recognizing the good work we are doing. So when we were called at every point in time, mostly we were even called at midnight, dawn, to go and attend to people, to do contact tracing, and we were always there to do the work. So I think this honor is very good, and it's going to motivate us to do more.
I'm so much happy internally. When we started the COVID, we never thought a day like this would come, such that the first gentleman of the land will recognize the little effort I kept during the COVID pandemic. So I feel so honored to be recognized and appreciated by the government of Ghana.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
Then I want to take a quick break and we'll be back with business.
A fifth of the babies who come in will end up dying.
This is impactful journalism, the storytelling that stretches your imagination and shines a light on the underreported issues.
Normally, if you talk, that will change people. Let them see it.
This is impactful journalism. It is fearless, independent journalism that reshapes thoughts and crushes stereotypes.
But I had no more strength in me again. The person must be made to know that what you have done, yes, it would have deserved murder.
This is impactful journalism. It provides context and meaning to the different perspectives.
Children are born with sin, and therefore if you don't baptize them and they die as children, then they will go to hell. This is funny.
This is impactful journalism. It provides context and meaning to the different perspectives. This is Joy News Hotline Documentaries, compelling stories changing the status quo.
Now, rice processing is one of the major economic activities for women in the Waki community in the Talensi district of the Upper East region. Although the business employs dozens of women in the community, access to a milling facility was a major challenge, and the women often had to cart their rice to other communities to be milled at an extra cost. To help address this challenge, the Widows and Orphans Movement has installed a new rice milling machine for the women of the Waki community and trained the women on how to operate the machine by themselves. Correspondent Albert Soy has more.
Here in the Waki community at Tongo in the Talensi district of the Upper East region, this women's group is busy. These are widows engaged in rice processing, striving to make a living and better the lives of their children. Until now, they often had to cart their rice on tricycles or donkey carts to other communities to access a milling machine. Their leader, Beatrice Sa, says this often came with an extra cost and also made it difficult for them to process the rice in larger quantities.
Widows and orphans through Action Aid send us to Tamale and train us how to parboil the rice. So when we parboil the rice, we get a motoking and carry it to Tongo and mail it and come back and sell. Even after, from Tongo, we go to a different community, which was a lot of money that we were spending. The motoking will charge us. The grinding mill will also charge us. And it was a waste of our time because sometimes if we don't have money, we have to carry it on our head and send it to Tongo and mail.
Today, that struggle ends. The Widows and Orphans Movement, an NGO working to improve the welfare of women like these and their children, has installed a new rice mill for the women of Waki. Along with the milling machine is a destoner, a machine which removes pebbles from the rice during processing. This place, which could one day become a full-fledged rice processing factory, will not only relieve these widows of their previous struggles during rice processing, but it will also be an asset to the entire community. Fatih Abigail Abdullahi is the executive director of the Widows and Orphans Movement.
As part of the work we do, we economically empower women. And over 6 years ago, they chose to go into the rice processing business. We trained them in how to parboil rice properly. However, they didn't have a mill in their community. Through the support of Stitching Zare, we were able to put up this building facility for them. And then with support from the KGL Foundation, we were able to purchase and install a rice milling machine, as well as a destoner, which is right behind me. And then today we are training them on how to be able to use these machines to mill the rice, but equally destone.
She says it is hoped that with the support given to these widows, rice processing will grow from this small community into a major industry for the Talensi district.
We are hoping that with this facility they have, they can also be able to render services to other people in the community for income. More importantly for us is for the community to see widows as development agents.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail, the ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional-grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
and to give them the inclusion that they deserve, and to ensure that widows are no longer seen as bad luck women. Looking in terms of their lives, we are hoping that they can be able to earn substantial or significant income from this business that would help them cater for their children and cater for their own needs as well.
The women say they are excited by the fact that this rice processing machine will speed up their work and help them make more profits. But even more satisfying for them is the fact that they have been given the requisite training to be able to operate the machine by themselves.
We are very happy that we have gotten our own machine here to help us. I think in a day we can mail about 10 or 12 to any amount of bags that we want. And when we mail it and the market goes fast, it will help us. And I know others too will be bringing rice here for mailing. We'll get money from it for our children. We can buy books, we can buy whatever our children need. And it is a job for us.
For these women of Waki, the installation of this rice mill could mark the beginning of a great new chapter in their economic lives as they process rice for the market, one bag at a time. For Joy News, Albert Sori, Waki, Talensi District.
That's it for business. We'll be back with sports. Now, Manchester City defeated Inter Milan to clinch their first ever Champions League title in Istanbul. It was Rodri, midfielder, who scored in the second half to give Man City the win. Pep Guardiola said it was such a relief for him to clinch this title, which he has longed for in his career at Manchester City.
Forced backwards before they can go forwards. Bernardo Silva. Manchester City go in front. It's Rodrigo.
Oh, big moments, big game. They've had to be so patient and they've been nowhere near their best in this game. But that little run there by Bernardo Silva allows him in there. They're claiming handball. Doesn't matter now because it breaks perfectly for Rodri. Big player in a big moment, doesn't panic, passes the ball into the corner. It's a brilliant finish from Rodney, calm and cool, found the back of the net.
Andre Onana has gone forward, punched away by Edison. Another impressive save by the Manchester City goalkeeper. That's a goal kick, but there's not time to take the goal kick because Manchester City emerge as UEFA Champions League winners 2023. And not only that, they've emulated Manchester United. Pep Guardiola has completed the treble. At long last, Manchester City have got their hands on the trophy. They've got their hands on the big one. It's Manchester City, the UEFA Champions League winners 2023.
Competition this year, this final was written in the stars because I will not confuse for the fact how happy I am, but at the same time they could score at the end, the goal, the chances they had a save, go in extra time.
Well, that's it for joining me. It's me, Razak Musbao. Up next is The Law with Samson Ladia.